They'll just have a pay-per-view called Rhodes. HardxTimes.
Right.
Oh, Jazzy Gabbert of NXT UK fame announced on Twitter that she is now a free agent. She also wrote, "I will press the reset button like Ring of Honor. I will be offline for a short while. I need a change. Will change. Body, mind, and soul needs a break."
She speaks
days.
Like a cave woman.
I know. I like you could read this in Broken Matt voice, and it would be great.
Right.
I will press the reset button. No. 10 days of fasting, including keeping off from social media, which is the hardest part of a fast, I tell you what.
Oh, I've never made it that far.
10 days of fasting is a little extreme.
I can go without eating. I can go without drinking water. But man, Twitter, woo, it beckons.
TikTok, bro. You don't even
stop.
know. It's the first step. Second one, which I look most forward to, is changing my look. And hopefully your grammar skills, you also too, writer. And I changed my profession. Whoa. One came to an end and one is rising like a phoenix. Watch out for it. There's a hurricane coming through. Thank you for being on this journey. Gabbert later explained her decision, saying, "In 2020, German rocker Udo Lindenberg asked me if I can come on tour again, and a reality TV show offer came in also. Unfortunately, these projects would cross the schedule from NXT UK, and I had to make a decision, because working all of these projects at once wouldn't work."
Well, that's oxymoronic.
As I couldn't
Working wouldn't work.
As I couldn't see myself moving up in terms of storylines, I had to ask for my release. So it was completely my decision, and I'm happy with it. I always wanted to work for WWE, and I'm happy that I can tick that box.
Oh, she's on TikTok.
So much for 10 days off, huh? And what are you doing posting the status? Of course, I would have loved to be a champion, for sure. But my heart tells me it's time to move on. So make sure you leave a comment so I can check it over the next 10 days that I'm not on social media.
This is cool, though. This is great for her. I don't falter one bit. If I could either be taking bumps and bruises and being on the road and everything, working my ass off in WWE, or I could be touring on the rocker circuit and doing shows and working on TV, maybe working the same amount of hours, but definitely a less grueling physical schedule. I think it is a no-brainer.
Yeah, I kind of look at it like if it's that easy for you to step away from it, you probably weren't made for it in the first place.
No, she probably wasn't. I think, just like she said, I think this was just a box that she wanted to tick off. And she did it, and good for her.
It's nice to know that WWE for people now is just a box, and it's not like your ultimate endpoint.
It's neat. It really is that, and I've actually read a few articles recently about wrestlers outside of WWE kind of mentioning that it's like, yeah, we'd love to go to WWE, but it's not the end-all, be-all, and a couple of wrestlers have mentioned, yeah, it was great being in WWE, but it was kind of a stop, and now I'm moving on to other things and
you could
making
be like
my
the
own
Undertaker
brand.
And give Vince your everything for your whole career, and then retire to have him beg you to come back each and every year, even though you're probably not ready to be in the ring.
Yeah. Yeah, and then you get a 2-hour debut in Stone Cold's show that's just a rebrand of a show that he had before.
Yeah.
And I respect The Undertaker as not only a wrestler and a person, but I've said it before on this podcast, and I'll say it again, and it's probably due to him having to stay in character his whole life. The man sucks in an interview, like a shoot interview where he's not The Undertaker. Yeah. He's just boring and hard to listen to and isn't eloquent, and he's not good at talking.
He's a socially awkward person.
He really is.
He kind of resonates with me in that sense.
Yeah, it's not bad, and it's not his fault. He spent his whole career not having to shoot interviews ever.
Yeah, he barely talked any throughout his adult life.
Oh, I can see.
Make the sounds.
You see, fucking Michelle McCool rolling over in bed. Hey, Mark, you feel like a romp tonight? And there's old Paul Bear in the corner. Oh yes, the Undertaker rises.
Man, Brock Lesnar needs to lose Paul Heyman sooner. He's going to have the same trouble.
Right.
No wonder Vince keeps getting him to come back. He can't talk for himself.
Oh, we got something to talk about there coming up. But when a UK door closes, that's great how that got written. I don't know who wrote that, but I love that. Somebody put some pants on that door, a T-shirt. When a UK door closes, another UK door opens. People listening have no fucking idea what we're laughing at. Irish indie wrestler Valkyrie Kane, and I usually give you the fucking shitty names, but I'm going to go with this one.
Alfie?
I think it's Iwafe Cusack.
My wife
has been signed to NXT UK. She is 23-year-old young, and she was trained at the same Fight Factory pro wrestling school as Raw Women's Champion Becky Lynch. She made her pro debut in 2015 and has been a top women's star in Europe since. She became the first woman to hold the Irish Junior Heavyweight title in 2018 also.
My wife.
Valkyrie Kane also held the Eve tag team titles with Debbie Keitel as the Woke Queens. Valkyrie worked the NXT UK TV tapings this past weekend in York, England, and wrestled a male on both nights. No, not a man, but a male. The name Amale. Why didn't I give you this one, Paystee? Why did I end up with this one?
Because I got this one. As for the domestic NXT, Cassie Catanzaro. There you go. How's that for you? Did that make you feel better?
Makes me feel much better, thank you. I appreciate it.
Made a surprise return for Women's Battle Royal in a losing effort for the number one contendership for NXT Women's Championship. Catanzaro opened up about doubts she had regarding a part of WWE in a YouTube interview where she discussed taking time away from NXT so she could rehab and take care of herself both physically, mentally, and spiritually. Catanzaro admitted how she did some soul-searching that ultimately led her back to The Undertaker's urn in his bedroom as he romped with Michelle McCool. No, led her back to WWE. She is excited to see what she can achieve during this next chapter of her wrestling career, admitting she is missing the feeling of competing and the reactions from the NXT fans. And
we feel the same.
Breathe a heavy sigh because you're an American Ninja Warrior, you're not a wrestler, and you don't need to be a wrestler.
Liked her, though.
When you walked away, I didn't care, and when you came back, I cared even less.
I will agree with you. When she walked away, I didn't care. And again, she kind of feels like the same with Jazzy Gabert. Like, it's almost just
her
something for her to do.
WWE, though. I forget who it is. She's with one of them.
Mr. Catanzaro.
Yeah, that's a thing.
well, it is, but you know. But nonetheless, but I really like her. I like her character. I like her. She's got that it factor. She's got that spunk. I like what she offers. I like what she brings. So. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. I would have been fine with her just leaving, but I'm
think,
fine with her.
Call her up to the main roster so I don't have to worry about it anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't find anything about her husband being in WWE.
Either that or her boyfriend. I don't know, but when she quit, somebody came out and spoke out on her behalf. And,
oh yeah, I do remember that. Now that you say that,
yeah,
I think she's banging somebody. It's good. We like that. We like banging people. Moving on, though. Sylvain Grenet told TVA Sports he is returning to WWE as a backstage agent. Most fans will remember Grenet's La Resistance days with his tag partner Rene Dupree from 2003 until 2005.
Don't remember this guy.
I felt the same way. I know the name Rene Dupree, but not Sylvain Grenet. But Rene Dupree was from the 90s also. So.
Yeah.
Starting last Monday at a WWE live event in Lexington, Kentucky, Grenet is currently in the training phase for his new role. Grenet stated, "For the moment, I am training, but eventually I will be assigned to the red team or the blue team, Raw or SmackDown." He's a fucking genius. "I'm going to do a TV show a week." Oh, he's a fucking genius. "Every pay-per-view, and once a month I'm going to tour house shows."
Every pay-per-view pre-show, maybe. You went away and came back. You should never, ever come back.
Good for him Good for him, though, as a backstage agent. I don't know much about him, so I really can't say whether I think he'll be good or bad or whatnot.
Can we get Rene Dupree back?
We could. I wasn't a big Rene Dupree fan, so... I didn't. La Resistance happened while I wasn't watching WWE, so I really have very little opinion on them, neither good nor bad. So I'm not sure. Not sure. But there's actually better news coming out of Canada than that, Paystee.
Not sure. Idiocracy. Sorry, had to go there. Yes. Shannon Moore may be going back to work for WWE. The Canadian Wrestling Elite promotion announced this week that Moore was forced back out of their January 24th through 26 shows due to an unexpected WWE obligation. Then in a Facebook post, CWE noted that the Prince of Punk had a contractual obligation to WWE that will now require his presence. Later this month, Moore was replaced by wrestling legend Pat Tanaka on the CWE shows, and it's interesting, Moore's returning to WWE during Royal Rumble weekend. Back in November, the author of the Book of Dilligaff, Do I Look Like I Give a Funk?
No, you don't.
Worked as a guest coaching stint at the Performance Center. Moore last appeared for WWE in August 2008, but has been active on the indies and overseas since leaving WWE. Moore has recently issued statements on being sober for over 2 years, which is something that's mandatory to do when you run around with a guy like Jeff Hardy.
You almost have to update that weekly. Just weekly, just being like, I'm not smoking crack with Jeff, okay? Just out here fishing.
This has got me a little bit worried, because Matt Hardy has had this Free the Delete series going on YouTube.
Yep.
Talking about leaving WWE, but with Moore coming back, I wonder if we're getting Matt version 1 again. And there was a little bit of foreshadowing for that on today's episode.
Well, I'm honestly more thinking, more, that we may just maybe see him make an appearance on the Rumble, which is already pretty full, so we might actually not get any old-timers. But it is very interesting that it's happening during Rumble weekend, so we could see him make a Rumble appearance, and then...
That would be such a shitty surprise entrant.
I liked him, but I understand it.
Can we not waste it on Shannon Moore, please?
I'd rather see Pat Tanaka, to be honest. Have him take him place in the Rumble.
Honestly, I'll take John Cena, It would be a good pop.
Oh, yeah, it would.
I kind of miss him a little bit. Things are rough without a guy who actually knows how to do live WWE TV.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they want from him. He would be great backstage as like a booker or a coach, just doing a job in NXT as a coach.
WWE backstage and they replace him as Booker T, but he is Booker T, and Booker T's not on the show anymore.
Okay.
Well, you said backstage as a booker. That's where my mind went.
Your mind did go there. We're not sure why, but it did for sure. Next up is the injury report.
Paystee's brain.
Yes. Yes, it is.
And that's our
Oh.
show.